Okay, good morning. Good morning. So we've been blessed to be in Arizona and New Mexico, and we'll start sharing some experiences, some testimonies of what happened during the trip, and we try to put in different aspects of the trip. And we will start with, is he here? Dustin? Dustin, this is your time. So Dustin will share with us what impacted him in the mission trip.
Alrighty, so on our way to and from our mission trip, we spread glow tracks wherever we stopped, and it was really fun. We went every time. We spread out a lot of glow tracks. But one specific story I want to share is this. There's this guy, and I handed him a glow track, and he was like, thanks. And then he stopped me as I was walking away, and he said, how many continents are there in the world? And I said, 7. And he said, how many, is there any way those can come together? And I'm like, no. And then he's like, how many churches are there? And Christian churches. I'm like, I think a little over 300. And he's like, okay, is there any chance those can come together? And I'm like, I don't think so, because each church has its own view of the truth, but there's only one correct view of the truth. He's like, well, and then he handed it back, and he's like, well, I'm not going to take it until until there's one church and we're all united in one belief. And I'm like, well, it doesn't. There's no way to unite people who are don't have the right belief. But I just find it interesting how, and two people said something similar to that, and I just found it interesting, like how people believe that. But then there was another lady that we went to, and we handed her the glow track, and she's like, well, thank you very much. It was awesome. Like what you guys are doing is awesome. And then she walked away, and then it was interesting. But the glowing was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was very powerful. It did a lot.
Thank you, Dustin. Well, why we want to share the glowing experience? Because sometimes we think that the mission can only be done once you get to your destination, but the mission started as soon as we stopped at our first gas station. Everybody was out sharing what we believe in, and thank you, Lance, for promoting that a lot, and we enjoyed it. So next, and as well at one of the gas station, another experience. Joaquin, can you share that with us?
Yeah, of course. Amen. Okay. So we stopped. I don't know if it was our first gas station or was another one, but I was just like going around inside the gas station, just looking around, you know. And then the lady from the cashier, she was like, "Oh, can you come closer?" Because she saw my sweatshirt, and she wanted to read the verse that is in the back. So if somebody wants to read the verse.
If anyone serves me, let him follow me, and where I am, there my servant will be also. If anyone serves me, him my Father will honor. John 12:26.
Okay. So this lady was very impacted by the Bible verse, and I remember, I think we had some glow trucks to her as well, and I think she was pretty blessed. And the spiritual lesson that I think we can get from this story is that sometimes, like, we just thought, oh, this is a cool design, let's put a verse in the back, and we didn't know it would be like such a great impact to like people that just watch the sweatshirt. So sometimes we don't know what could be an impact for other people, but even our way of behaving, our way of acting, and our clothes can speak for us. So I encourage you to have that same way of thinking. Thank you.
Amen.
So the lesson, whatever we do, say, or even wear, can be a testimony to others. Then our first stop in our mission was Chinle. It's a church and school together, and it's a humble place. It's a humble place. The place was not that clean. The place had some mold we had to sleep on the floor, and it was pretty cold. Actually, it was snowing when we were getting there. It was like we went and there was a lot of snow on the way, so it was pretty cold. But that place is pretty interesting because they work really hard. It's a very small campus. It's elementary. Is it elementary school? Yes. It's an elementary school. And what they needed, some of the things that we did there, they had gravel that they brought in 3 semi-trucks. And that gravel had to be spread all over the parking lot. All over the, so that was that easy or hard? That was some hard work there. We didn't have any problems at all falling asleep at night. So that was good. Then Mr. Rudy Santana, he built a deck. He built a deck there with his team. Then another team was splitting wood. They split quite a lot. And, you'll see some in the pictures that we'll be showing later. Cleaning leaves. There's a lot of wind there, so all the leaves are like stuck in their fence, and it was a lot, and it doesn't look good. So we had to take the moldy leaves, get them up. It was a pretty nice job. So then we had JA meetings. Do you know what JA is? Yeah, it has 2 versions. They have, in that church, it's pretty creative. They're in the middle of Navajo community, pretty low-end community, and in the church, they started Alcoholic Anonymous. That's AA. Because people have a lot of problems with alcohol and drugs there. So on Tuesday, they have NA in the church. On Wednesday, they have NA, Narcotics Anonymous. And the church is packed. And then the pastor said, hey, we can take advantage of this. And he wrote to AA and he said, what if we join you guys and we do something similar that you do, but we'll call it JA, Jesus Anonymous. And they put 12 steps, same steps that AA has, and Alcoholic Anonymous headquarters, they said, yes, that looks fine, because we think people do need spiritual aspect in order to overcome. And they accepted it as an official AA supplement, JA. So what does that mean? That insurance, health insurance, is paying for people to get transported for the JA meetings. So transport companies like taxis, well, they have transport companies because people live like an hour and a half away in the middle of nowhere. And these transport companies, they'll go and pick the people up, and this insurance is paying them. The drivers would go and recruit people to bring to the meetings because they want to make their money. So the church was packed the entire 5 days a week. And that's not only when we were there. They always do that. 5 days a week, the church is full. The only day when the church is kind of low on attendance is Sabbath. It's Sabbath because the members are few there. But during the week, a lot of people are coming. So Chinle is a place with a lot of needs, financial needs. They needed a lot of things for us to do. We worked hard at Chinle. And we ate good food there. Thank you, Mrs. Gutierrez. She cooked really nice. We had very good food there at our first stop. So that was Chinle. And then after Chinle, we went to a different place. And now, I think it's Miss Atlaida. She'll tell us about the next place we went.
So, they were cold, but actually the girls were slept pretty warm. We're thankful. One of the helpers there, the Help with the Children program, she allowed us to stay at her house in her little trailer. So we all slept very tight, but we were very warm, right? So in La Vida is actually a school. It's a school where students come. It's from very young, I think 1st grade to 12th grade. And the students, they come and they stay, but they also go back to their house. They go home. And some of the things that we did there was, basically, some people, the main thing that some of the students were working on is doing new locks and mastering that. And I know some of them had lots of fun trying to do that. And because of that, the Lord was able to bless. God only knew why He allowed that, and also made something very special happen, which one of our students will be sharing with you guys. We did a lot of cleaning, like lots of cleaning and lots of dust everywhere. So it was nice. And basically, also another thing we did is that another group was helping us with water line. Basically, fixing the water line, one of them broke. So that was one of the things that we're doing. I know some students question why we're pulling nails left and right. Every morning we would wake up and there was a team of boys who would just go and pull nails. And then also, we would pull weeds. I know some of us got tired of pulling weeds, but we were doing that. It was fun. It was fun through all of it. Also, we had another team that was helping with the AV, helping the church and installing their new AV. And one of the most precious things that I can remember that happened in La Vida was revival. I remember that in our girls' room, a lot of students gave their hearts to Jesus. It was a moment of consecration. It was a moment of revival. And I can say that, that for me, that was the memorable experience that happened there. I know that for the boys as well. Mr. Oleg would wake up and all his boys were already up, spending time with the Lord. And that's what I can remember. That was the most impactful thing that I can say that came out of this mission trip.
While we were in the Vita mission, Ariana and I did some walks and some other people did too. And one of the experiences that we got to have was, one of the houses. I was going up to the house and I could hear somebody in the house, so I knocked on it and nobody answered. And then I knocked on it again and I just heard some mumbling. I was like, oh, I wonder if there's somebody actually in there who needs help. So I opened up the door and I said hello, and said hello. And I had stuff in my hands, and there's a big dog that ran to the door, and I was like, oh no, there's a big dog. And he said, don't let the dog out. And I was like, okay. And I was trying to push it back with my foot and try to shut the door. I was like, okay, I'll come back later. So I ran and got Ariana and I told her what was the situation.
Because I was playing, there was like a duplex, so I was next door, and so I was finishing with that, and then she came in and asked me like, oh, we have a problem with the dog, there's this lady, I don't really see her, I don't know who she is, can you come help me? And so,
And so the conclusion that we got to was, let's just come back later.
we'll just go back later.
Because we needed to go on with a bunch of other houses, a whole campus. And so we were walking away, and I was thinking that it takes us about 7 to 10 minutes to go back to the admin building to go get more locks for the other houses. And I really wanted to finish my job. So I was like, well, I really wanted to finish the big dog, and we have to open up the door to get the locks off. So the big dog will be running around. And so I was like, nah, it's fine, let's just go. And something that really impressed me, really strong, very strongly, to go back to the house. I was like, this is already out of my comfort zone, I don't want to go back. And it was so strong, I was like, okay, we can just go, and we can just put the dog in a room, and let's just do it. So we did. So we went back. And because I knew nobody's going to answer, so I opened up the door, and we went in, and shut the door, and I wasn't really looking all over, I was just like kind of looking at the floor, and just explaining what we're going to do. I didn't know where this lady was. And
But when we were walking in, we heard like, help, I need help, or whatever. So we're just like walking in, like the dog's there, what do we do? And so we're like, okay, and yeah, we didn't really see her at first, so we were really confused, and then we kept walking.
We heard her voice like right there, but then we couldn't, I was like looking around, I couldn't find her. And so we decided to just like look all around the house. So then,
Yeah, and so I walked up like more like, to the back of the house, and I see her like laying on the floor in the kitchen, and she had like dried butter on her mouth too, and it was in the kitchen. And so we were like, oh, okay, what do we do? So Karen ran and got Miss Addie, because where we were staying was right next door. So so Carrie Ann got Miss Addie, we came, Rachel was also there, so she came too, and then she told me to go back either to the admin building to get like Mr. Rudy or Marty, just get someone. And so I was like, okay, fine, and I ran, and there was a auto shop on the way back. And so I was like, okay, maybe someone's in there. So I went and called, no one was there. And I go around the corner because it goes straight and it was like that. And so I go around the corner. At first, to me, I don't see anything. But then what appears to me out of the middle of nowhere is this car with like a bunch of people on the back of it and this guy driving the truck. So I'm like, okay, they wave him down. And so I waved him down, I tell him the situation, I'm like, can you come help me? He came, and yeah, and then he came and
And then, while she was out trying to find somebody, Rachel and I were there, and we were praying with her. Rachel prayed with her, and she told, we were like, how long have you been on the farm? And she was like, about like a day or she found in the morning. It was afternoon, and she was there for quite a while. And so they got some help. We got help. Yeah, and then more guys came. And then they called 911, and since it's a really remote area, they had to helicopter out. So like they went out, and we later found out that she had like failing organs or something, and like broken ribs. Yeah, it was really bad. She had a heart attack, and one of her lungs was full of fluid, and then her other one was and then she had pneumonia too. And so she just
No, she's still alive.
yeah, she's alive. When we were leaving, I saw her again, so she got at the end.
If you didn't come, who knows?
Yeah, she would have died. So
Yeah, and I think for me, the spiritual insight I gained out of this was a lot of times we don't want to listen to God's voice, but in the end, it's going to be so much better because we can either save lives or gain a blessing ourselves. And so that's, yeah.
It's interesting because this school was on break. They had home leave, so there was very few people on campus. If they wouldn't have gone there, the chances probably no one would have visited this lady for the entire week since it's break. So really, La Vida mission, it means life. So really, the girls were there to give life back to this lady because the helicopter came, took her to the hospital. So it was a blessing. It was a blessing and a life saved her. Okay, next student to share with us, I think it's Rachel.
Okay, so we are out of time. I'll make it fast. So basically, life can teach you many things, but for some reason, when God sticks you with about 20 people, puts you in a situation that is definitely not comfortable, and gives you a job to do, things happen. For me, those 20 people became like siblings. Could be a bad thing, but we'll see it was a good thing. The place I was at, which was called Out of My Comfort Zone, became a place that really taught me flexibility, and the job that God gave me to do became a life work even for a couple of days. A lot of the times I'm asked, so Rachel, what did you get out of mission trip? And I'm like, well, let me tell you. This is something I wrote before mission trip, actually while we were on the bus driving to Chimney. And I said, last night, as I was trying to mentally prepare myself for this mission trip, I decided one thing. I would come at it empty. No prepared plan about how I'd feel or would feel about the upcoming ordeal. Because ordeal it will be. Usually, however, things aren't half as bad as they could or seem. That's why I need to be completely open and ready to figure out what a mission trip like this will really be like. So obviously, I was having my second questions about mission trip. Okay, and then I said, so you may be wondering, what was mission trip really like for me? It was hard and challenging, but it was also special because God worked in my life to grow my character. And I'm not just saying this because the staff asked me to say something nice. I'm saying it because, like, it actually happened. doing mission work as a part of my future life. And
Amen.
I really experienced joy this morning. So that was mission trip for me in about 2 minutes.
We really saw changes in students' lives. We really saw, and I did say Rachel is a testimony for me, the way she was on fire for Jesus on this mission trip and everybody else. To see our wake up time was 1 and everybody waking up half an hour and a half before, searching for the Lord to have a powerful mission trip. It was really a blessing.
It's like a specific hour. That's why we made like 1 hour to get in. It's like a specific hour. It was a specific hour. We were waking you up earlier to get in. Okay, just go for it. Just go for it.
Get in, Duncan. Get in, Duncan.
I'm doing this. Don't run. Don't run.
Come get the caddy. Come on.
Squirrel.
Double the ring and let's see the cat.
I made it.
Are you okay, bro?
here, the candy in the wall is going down again.
Happy April Fools!
Before I get, we get you guys with the shaving.
We shaving cream, this girl, and so many more.
It was amazing. It was traumatizing. Wait, let's get Christina.
And it's all and we got this here and
Thank you.
yes.
Christina, your eyes, please. Christina.
Yeah. Okay. I called dibs on the shower.
I got this.
What?
Let me take it out.
Oh, they did. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Except for Amy, I didn't do right.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Wait, we need a picture, Rachel.
Yes.
It's actually ringing. That's so cool.